All right, welcome to Friday. How are you? Let's see where we're going today. Message for the collective, please. Where are we going today? Come on, baby. Valiant courage. Take action with passion. Uncovering treasure beneath the surface lies a great bounty. Fogged in. Go slow, take time, take your time here. Wandering path, enjoy the journey. There's something to be gained from not rushing a situation right now. Okay, even though there's this sense of like go for the gusto feeling, I feel if you move too fast, you're going to miss out. So if there's something going on in your life that is stalled out or has stopped or isn't advancing, it's almost like getting stuck in a ride at Disney World, not the Small World one, please, but there's something to be gained by the going slow or the stopping of a situation altogether, and then you're kind of like stuck here. I'm stuck here talking to you. I'm stuck here, right? Like that's how you might feel. But there's a jewel in it. Don't overlook it. This might go by quickly. You know, like you could look back this week and see a situation that you kind of just pushed through where it would have been good for you to just like enjoy the moment a little bit more. Sometimes we get stopped in situations just for that reason, just like a stop and smell the roses kind of thing. So let's see what wants to come through for the collective right now. Oh boy, look at that. 10 of Swords underneath, the 5 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands, and the 3 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. There is something to be said for finding the beauty in difficulty. This week or recently, you might have put an end to something going on in your life. And, you know, I feel like you do feel appropriately sad that there's an ending to it, but I don't think you understood. I think later on you're going to see that this moment in time was a real pivotal one. Okay. You might have felt betrayed or you might have felt sad about the ending of something, but I'm here to tell you, like, I kind of feel like you look back and go, wow, that was actually a gift. Okay. It was actually a gift. Whether it was that you learned that you could do an ending or you could put an end to something, or if you learned something new about yourself in whatever way, shape, or form, there's a jewel coming out of this. The story you're telling will help other people. You're being called to tell the story of something that was very difficult for you to do. It's going to help other people on their path. The jewel in the crown, the jewel in the pain. It wasn't for nothing. This is part of your destiny. That story, telling that story is going to be something that you'll be known for, but it's not about recognition, really. It's more about not realizing it's going to show you how we're all connected. I constantly marvel at when I do readings and a reading comes through, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know who that was for, or what's the purpose of that. It will connect with someone and I'll read those comments and I'll be like, wow, this proves to me that we are all connected. That if I'm able to tap into some energy that is impacting your life, you know, way across the globe or just down the street or whatever, it's showing me that the stories we tell not only show that connection, but also can impact others. Okay. If, you know, I also see this too, every once in a while, someone will write a comment that says, oh, wow, that happened. They don't usually say, oh, wow. They're sort of like, that happened 2 years ago. Like, why are you telling me this? The purpose of that is to remind you about a time period in your life. You are on a different timeline now, or that timeline is something that will help somebody else. You get me? So it's not like, oh, you're supposed to predict the future only for people who are on this particular current timeline. sometimes recognizing timelines in your own life are reminders of purpose and mission, and reminders of how we do help each other. Not everybody, it just shows me that time is this kind of cyclical and fluid kind of thing, and how we experience it. It's fascinating to me to read those comments and see that coming from you guys too. The Three of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the Two of Cups. Some of you have killed third parties out of your life. And I don't mean that literally. I just mean you've been like, it doesn't attract you anymore. It's not interesting anymore. It feels like, oh God, not this again, right? Like there's something really good about that. Five of Swords, Seven of Cups, Three of Swords, the helpful tears, sadness, grief, loss, manipulation, confusion. I know we want to have sunshine and fairy dust all the time, but like I said, the slow down, the stuckness or whatever, there's purpose to this. There's purpose to this. This is how you're getting your gifts, or how they're opening, or the wisdom that you're sharing with other people. You couldn't do that if everything was sunshine and fairy dust all the time. It'd be like, yeah, what else you got? Okay, because I feel like most people don't have sunshine and fairy dust. No one is looking to change something that's happy for them. No one's looking for that to end. No one's looking for, when things are going smoothly, we don't learn that much. We can learn about gratitude. We can learn about the specialness of a moment and embrace it and fully savor it, especially if we've taken them for granted, right? But now this feels like being grateful for the tears, being grateful for the difficulties, because that makes you legit. Okay? This is what's making your gifts okay. This is what makes the story resonate with other people. If you have been through something, which clearly you have here, if you have been through something and you're still standing and you're in a good place, or you're in a growth place, or whatever, I just feel like that helps people feel not alone. And I'm certainly not the first one to say that, but I'm just saying, like, the Hermit, Knight of Pentacles is Virgo energy, and the Ace of Wands. There is a jewel in the tears you have shed, the truth of the authenticity. I just saw Gabor Mate, who I dearly love. I can't believe he's 80. That's just surprising to me. But he talks about authenticity as a healer. That we are, when we share what happens to us without manipulation, Five of Swords, without the need to make ourselves look better in the story, or without ego, we're saying to other people, like, yeah, something bad happened to me, or something really harsh happened to me. I got dumped, I got cheated on, I got this, I got that. And I feel like some people are afraid to share those stories because it's an ego contract that they don't want to be pitied, or they don't want other people to see them in a light that says, oh, what a loser, like that kind of thing. I feel like the authenticity of that is what makes a spiritual path resonate for other people. Do you see what I'm saying? And the authenticity of that, without sugarcoating it, or without trying to make ourselves look a certain way. We're just willing to share our hearts. We're willing to say, yeah, that didn't work out for me. Yes, I was in a third party for 20 years. Yes, I was somebody who had anger problems. Yes, I was, right? Like that ability to be that level of authenticity is a true gift. Most people are afraid of that level of authenticity, afraid of it in other people, afraid of it in themselves, especially if they are still in their shadow time when they're trying to like kill anything about themselves that they feel is weak. It's actually a superpower. So if you know people like that, and I certainly do, that they want to always come out looking like, no matter what happens, they change the narrative so they look like the hero. But I feel like we are getting more and more into a time when people are like, we know bullshit when we see it. Okay. And that brings pity. That brings like, it's not helpful. It's not helpful to be someone who's like always painting themselves as John Wayne or some kind of hero or some kind of this or some kind of that. That's how I feel like we're so interested in the Avengers. We're so interested in these Marvel comics and stuff like that because they all are deeply flawed, just like us. And they do amazing things. They do spectacular things from their flaws. I talk about Hulk all the time. Anger, rage. That's his superpower. Okay? And an accident happens. Something, they get, duped or laid low, or they get manipulated, or they get whatever as regular humans. That sticks with them. They want to balance those scales of justice. Okay. And I feel like a lot of us want that. I feel like that's why we're drawn to those kinds of things. And there's no shame in this game. There's no shame in having been dumped, left, thought of as not good enough, or told that in your family, you're not good enough. You have to be, in order to be loved, you have to do something to prove yourself. And if you come from that kind of family, you're going to have those stories reverberating in your life a lot. And you're going to attract those situations to you where other people are trying to take advantage of the fact that you want that so much. You want to overcome it. But when you remove that kind of longing or yearning, there's nothing for them to grab onto. So you don't have that anymore. That's what turns you into Gandalf. All right. That's what turns you into the superhero. You're not, no one can hook you. No one can hook you. So what is this Ace of Swords here? This authenticity about it being a healer. Authenticity is a healer. King of Swords. 5 of Wands. 7 of Pentacles. Page of Swords. You can do more with words of authenticity than any king with 100 armies is trying to do. Whoever this is, there is somebody here, somebody listening has come up against this in their family or this in their life, where one word of authenticity is something that can undercut a bully, can remove this King of Swords, okay, can remove that from your life. It is something to really be embraced. And the truth, right? So when you're looking at the truth now is being twisted around. People claim words, points of view as truth. But you have your truth. And when you're wielding that truth, it comes from a place of experience. You're not, I talked a lot this week in a Pathfinders group about wishful thinking versus intuition. And wishful thinking is fantasy. And what can happen is if you want something to be true so much, you kind of negate your experience. You negate your lion eyes. You don't believe what's in front of you because you want so much for this other thing to be true that you completely rule out. That makes you vulnerable to all kinds of treachery. Okay? So really trying to align with, because if you see reality, everybody sees it through their own lens. You see the truth, the reality through your upbringing. So when one person, this is why people who are abused, animals that are abused, lash out when someone tries to be kind because they don't believe it, because their lens tells them that that's nonsense, that anytime they were trying to connect with somebody, they got hurt. So they lash out against somebody who's trying to be kind. And I know a lot of you have experienced this in family, in marriages, in friendships or frenemies, relationships that have really abused your trust and faith. And I feel like the spiritual path is taking us on a path of, the spiritual path is moving us down the road of authenticity. It does require courage to be authentically vulnerable and admit failings, admit loss, admit that you didn't get what you wanted, or that someone, betrayed you. That takes a lot of courage. And when you can do that, you set yourself free. You get yourself out of that cage. If you won't do it, you're locked in a cage. You're locked in a cage of your own making. Because it's really important that other people see you a certain way. And when you stop caring about that, you're free. Okay? You're free. What is this Ace of Wands here? I feel like this is a new day. I love this Hermit, Knight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands. The World. Queen of Wands. Eight of Cups. Death. Transformative energy here. Healing, Four of Swords, and the King of Wands. Wow. King and Queen of Wands here. This is the valiant courage that we're talking about. Some of you are stepping away from a very cold partner or a very cold experience that you've had. Now, this could be decades of experience. This could be family. You're moving on from this. And you've stepped through the looking glass here. This is what the valiant courage is. It's the courage to let someone be kind to you and be generous and be vulnerable with somebody. And to be that, to allow, I'm getting a lot of goosebumps on this one, to allow yourself to tell your story in a way that's not manipulative, but to admit stuff and learn to go slowly so that you can see this new connection, King and Queen of Wands, from a healed perspective. This is brand new. All right, this is transformative. A transformative new way of doing connection that allows for human frailty. That is a gift. And only through going slow. Remember I said about being fogged in? So some of you, this may be quite literal, that you get stuck somewhere. All right? On a subway. Waiting for a restaurant, waiting for a table in a restaurant. Don't just blow it off and roll your eyes and be angry at the delay. I'm speaking to some of you who are going to have a delay within the next week or so, and it's going to be meaningful. There might be a person there. There might be a lesson learned there. There might be a jewel of wisdom that comes through you, something. You could even happen upon somebody who really hurt you in the past, right? You're stuck in this subway and there's your ex. Oh my God. Okay. You're waiting for a doctor's appointment and there's a person sitting next to you and you start talking, and there's some experience that you're going to share that is going to change that person's life. This is what I'm talking about. So allow yourself to find the jewels in the delays of life. Over the next week, there's going to be something very meaningful. All right. So when this happens, I want you to go, I remember Mary Jo said this in her Friday reading. By the time we get to October, those of you who are going to have this experience will know it. You'll know that it might take you courage to say, yeah, I was dumped at the altar. I was left to fend for myself as a kid. They neglected me. Something you say, something that comes out of that conversation is going to maybe not immediately be you may not immediately know you'll know what the jewel is, but you may not immediately know how it's applied. Yeah. It's a change agent. All right. So let's keep going. If this is your reading, I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to look at any kind of blocks. I'm going to see where we're going here. I'll get you as much advice on this as I can. Let's look at also what you don't see coming, because that may have impact on how you go, aha, this was a big deal. All right. Link is below if you want to continue on with me. Pathfinders, let's just keep on going. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.